What's up guys, Mickle here, and throughout this entire Ripple SEC case, we have been able to find many of moments where the SEC has almost admitted that they know XRP is not a security. In this video, I want to show you a shocking example of the SEC literally telling us that XRP is not an investment contract in their own case. I also want to talk about the Ripple test. Will this current Ripple SEC case become the standard for whether a cryptocurrency is a security or not? I want to talk about some different people's opinions on that subject, and it's going to be critical to the crypto industry moving forward. Last of all, at the end of this video, we're going to go over the XRP price chart. I think there's a lot of FUD coming into the market right now that's really not justified. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. It is very important. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video and go over something pretty shocking that was admitted by the SEC in their original filing of this case, because one thing we have found out throughout this entire case is the SEC really never had a clear vision of the case they wanted to bring. Throughout this entire thing, the SEC's case has been extremely sloppy. They have pivoted on very critical issues, they've changed their mind, they've made conflicting statements, and even the judge in the case came out and said that the SEC is not pursuing this case with a faithful allegiance to the law and is instead trying to change facts based on the outcome they want. Pretty much the SEC filed this case as a let's throw everything at Ripple and see what the judge agrees with, and if the judge doesn't agree with something, we'll just change the facts. Well, it's pretty funny because the SEC actually ends up admitting to stuff in this case that kind of hurts their case overall, and this is a great example of it. So the reason this was actually found out, and this is one of the funniest things about all of this, is a lot of times on Twitter, you'll see different maxis like Bitcoin maxis coming at the XRP community with facts like I'm about to read you that they think bolsters their case on why XRP is a security, but it turns out that the facts they're presenting, kind of like the SEC was doing, literally admit that XRP is not a security. So what this Bitcoin maxi brings up here to Stephen Hubert is that essentially Ripple was giving XRP to parties to use for ODL, and those parties were immediately dumping XRP on the market. So when you originally read this, it sounds all bad and scary. Oh my god, Ripple was giving companies XRP and those companies were dumping it on retail. That's so bad, Ripple's an evil company, XRP must be a security. But if you take a step back and just think about the charge that's being made here, it kind of proves in itself that XRP was not being used as a security. In order for something to be a security, it needs to be an investment contract. And what the SEC is alleging right here is that Ripple was distributing XRP in a way that was not an investment contract. If Ripple was giving XRP to a third party, and that third party was immediately dumping the XRP, clearly they weren't using it as an investment contract. Something cannot be an investment contract if immediately after receiving it, you sell it. What would you be trying to invest in? You clearly weren't using that vehicle to invest in anything. Instead, you were using it as a utility to transfer value. Whether or not you think it's right that this third party immediately dumped XRP on the market is insignificant to the issue. And a lot of times I see people getting caught up with different facts that they might not like, but it doesn't actually prove their point. And this is a prime example of this. This third party receiving XRP and dumping it onto the market literally proves that Ripple was using XRP in ways that did not constitute investment contracts. The SEC is trying to allege in this case that every single XRP that Ripple ever sold in its history, every single sale was an investment contract. But this example they bring up is proving that Ripple was not using it as an investment contract right here. All they were saying is, hey, we're going to give you XRP, it's faster, it's cheaper, and we can transfer the value in a matter of mere seconds, and then you can sell it and take your profit. It was used as a vehicle to move value. And this is completely contradictory to the SEC's entire case. The SEC claims XRP has no utility, it's just an investment contract. And yet they bring up an example right here proving that their case is wrong. This is just a shocking example that really shows more than anything that the SEC did not do the proper research when they brought this case. They really just took a whole bunch of facts, a whole bunch of FUD, threw it at the court and said, okay, can you figure out how to use these facts to try to make XRP seem like an investment contract? And to be honest, I think there are some courts this would have worked in. I think some courts would have accepted this sloppy lawyering by the SEC. But we got really lucky and we have judges that are taking this very seriously and actually evaluating the facts in this case and not just saying the SEC is a government agency, they must be right. Overall, I just think this goes to show who we're dealing with here. The SEC doesn't care about facts, they don't care about laws, they will put anything in their case that they think makes Ripple look bad, regardless if it makes sense. So now I want to move on and talk about the Ripple test, because Stephen Hubert was tweeting out earlier today that he doesn't think the Ripple test really makes any sense. For those of you who follow this channel, I respect Stephen Hubert so much. His content is amazing, and this is one of the few things I disagree with him on. So he was saying essentially that the Ripple test doesn't make any sense because ultimately Congress is going to make the laws, Congress is going to decide what's a security and what's not, and ultimately this entire case between Ripple and the SEC won't really matter. Now, the main reason I really disagree with this is because Congress is not going to make any laws on their own. Congress is fundamentally unable to understand cryptocurrencies, and figuring out what's a security and what's not is just too complex for them. This case we're watching play out right now between Ripple and the SEC is going to be the fundamental building block that Congress uses to create crypto laws in the future. Congress is not going to be able to come together and say, okay, this is what makes something a security, this is what makes something not a security. They are incapable of doing that. You really think they're smart enough to draft comprehensive crypto laws? No, of course not. What's going to happen is we are going to get a decision in the Ripple SEC case, and that decision is likely going to be used to build crypto policies for the entire crypto space. We're going to get a determination on whether or not XRP, the digital asset, is a security or not, and that is what the laws are going to be built off of. This is typically how the American system of creating laws works. There's usually a landmark case, some groundbreaking controversial issue, it gets decided on by the courts, sometimes it gets challenged, sometimes it doesn't, but ultimately that decision by the courts is what the laws are built around. And that's because in America, we don't have a lot of things that are trusted. Not a lot of people trust the government, not a lot of people trust the right, not a lot of people trust the left, but for the large majority of people, the courts are generally trusted. Now, I know there's exceptions to that, there's exceptions to anything, but most people in this country do have respect for the court system, and because of that, that is where some of the most profound laws start. I think regardless of whether or not we have differing laws in the future, I think one thing is safe to say, this Ripple SEC case is going to be critical in creating the foundation for the laws going forward, and I have a feeling whether or not it's directly the Ripple test or some other test, this case right here is going to be absolutely critical in determining whether crypto tokens are securities or not. And let me just say on that note, I am so happy Ripple is the company fighting for this standard. We could have so much worse right now, and honestly, it puts XRP holders in the best position. Rather than relying on Congress to decide what makes something a security, what makes something not a security, we are having Ripple fight in the courts for whether or not XRP is a security, and honestly, I trust that process so much more than some corrupt politicians meeting up with Gary Gensler behind the scenes and saying, okay, do you want power over crypto? Here you go, we don't really care about it, take your power. This is kind of the best thing that could have happened for us. Ultimately, it sucked watching it play out, it sucked having to wait, but it's going to be over, and we are going to get a ruling that no one can argue with. So I want to finish this video off and take a quick look at the macro. I really do think this is the most important thing for the cryptocurrency market right now. A lot of people attribute moves in the cryptocurrency market to the 4-year cycle. I don't really subscribe to this theory. I think the idea that the crypto market is just going to keep on going up and down in 4-year cycles is a little naive. Markets don't work like that. It's way too predictable. Markets are always going to do what you least expect, but typically macro is a great indication where things are going to go. A lot of people are saying right now that the bear market can't be over because we haven't had a recession yet. And I just want to point out, because I think this is so important to understand, and I'm hearing this everywhere right now. Right now, people are saying the bear market can't be over because we haven't had the recession yet. What I need to point out here is the data is heavily manipulated. We know about 6 months ago, we had a technical recession that no one wants to count as a recession. If you're going to be altering the data like that, how could you say we haven't had a recession yet? No one even knows what the standard for a recession is anymore. If you're just going to change the rules halfway through, well then, how could you use charts saying we haven't had a recession yet, so the bear market can't be over? By some definitions, we've had a recession. By some, we haven't. And I think that's just so important to understand. What I'm looking at right now is the fact that XRP has been stable at a bottom for almost a year now. It's in a very interesting formation right now where it is definitely range bound, but that formation is coming to an end. Now, funny enough, this formation ends at the end of March, exactly when we're expecting a decision in the Ripple SEC case. Are we going to get a decision at the end of March? No one knows. Some smart lawyers have predicted it though, and that could definitely be enough to catapult us to new all-time highs. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.